Welcome to Love and Friendship. Which are we into today?
Friendship.
Friendship. Yeah, love hurts sometimes. Hopefully it would. Though I like to be loving friends with people. We're loving friends. In case you missed it, we can be your loving friends too from a very safe distance. Especially if I learn to look at you and not me on the camera. It's only taken 25 years to maybe begin to learn that. So this is Love and Friendship. We have this very loving, friendly person on my left, Sarah Brett. I'm your host, Michael Koran. And we are trying to discover why Abraham heard a call that he was going to spread blessings to all families on earth, even ours. He probably didn't know what he was getting into, but we can see he did. So we're trying to read chapter by chapter the story of Abraham in Genesis to discover what's this blessing stuff. Sounds good, yummy, fruitful. And we're now reading, each of the chapters are wild, you might have discovered that. And Sarah, Brad is going to read the beginning of chapter, just the dark print of chapter 21, if you're following with us. And we'll see they're all impossible situations, traumatic, like some of our lives. And out of the trauma, blessings. If we can learn to wrestle with the trauma, cradle the trauma, tease the trauma, fight with the trauma, and we can, I hope, help fallen angels, which some of us might call demons, spread their wings.
And fly away?
Or just hover around us and help. They might find somebody for you, a friend. They'll just say, hey, Sarah, say hello to him.
The Lord cared for Sarah as he had said and did for her what he had promised. Sarah became pregnant and gave birth to a son for Abraham in his old age. Everything happened at the time God had said it would. Abraham named his son Isaac, the son Sarah gave birth to. He circumcised Isaac when he was 8 days old, as God had commanded.
Why don't we stop there? Now, translators often protect the Bible. They think we can't really handle the raw. The Catholic Church didn't even let people read the Bible for over 1,500 years. Only the priest could read it. It was in Latin to boot. And only recently, a little before you were born, they said, well, okay, you Catholics can read it now, because it's wild, as we've seen. But even then, the translations try to, they think they're being kind. Well, people really can't handle this. So but I, who was in Israel for 3 years, learned a few Hebrew words. So the beginning is, you read it again, just the first sentence.
The Lord cared for Sarah as he had said and did for her what he had promised.
And what's in the brackets, which is the literal?
The literal is the Lord visited Sarah.
Ah. So what do we think?
We're thinking the visitor might have impregnated
Yes. Sarah. And the visitor could have been who?
One of those 3 men that showed up.
Yes, or who else did Abraham give Sarah away to? Do you remember?
Oh, well, the king of...
Yes. Good for you.
Is it Sodom? No.
Gerar. Abimelech, which means father king.
Right.
So he's giving her away. He's leaving her with 3 strangers.
Mm-hmm.
And then it says, and again, it doesn't say the Lord in the Hebrew. It says Yahweh, a very specific, so it's just, Yahweh, who was one of the visitors who came and had his feet washed and ate some food.
Mm-hmm.
So, Polly Polyamory. I mean, what are you going to do if you're married to your half-sister? You know, I'm sure, many marriages, including my parents, where it was hard to touch. They didn't even want to touch each other, let alone. I have had that too. Don't touch me. Mm-hmm. We once had a friend of mine, Gwen Brown. We were thinking of having a therapy agency. And we were going to advertise. This was going to be our advertisement. Does your mother know where you are now? When someone touches you, do you think they're taking something from you? I felt all those things. Will it take you 6 months to discover what you think about this ad? It was all of them. Feelings were so. I have to just wait about 6 months before I can begin to handle them. So, who knows what was going on between Abram and Sarah? She did it to him, right? He did it to her first. He gave her to Pharaoh. They're a swinging couple. Mm-hmm. And if we don't want to judge them harshly, given this impossible situation where you're married to your half-sister and your father has probably killed your brother for respecting women, giving them names, that's a hard family. So what would you do? You're married to your half-brother.
Right, I would be okay with the poly.
Yes, and maybe pick the right.
Yeah.
You know, and
it
expand
could the gene pool.
What?
Expand the gene pool.
Yep, and it could be that making love to Sarah. I think this is what I think. I think she had a different mother than Abram. Some people think her mother was a goddess, like in those temples. In the old days, if you're feeling lonely, you don't go to places like, Human Awareness Institute, which will teach you how to love. You go visit the temple goddess with a goat, and you take the goat, which is very nice, or maybe someone even will bring a sheep, and the goddess who is trained by her mother and can feel divine energies flowing through, can give the sheep giver a very divine experience. And that might have happened when the three strangers came to visit Sarah. She might have been with one of them, I hope only one. I don't know with her. Might have been three. And one of them had such a divine experience, it was revealed, although it was said that he was a human when he came, after this experience, the Bible calls him Yahweh. He really felt, you've had some friends begin to feel that, felt, oh my, the presence of God, transformed. So here it says, Yahweh visited Sarah. And that's nice, right? Happened for Jesus, why can't it happen to you? Or why can't the person you hug, all of a sudden you and him or her be so transformed by touch, so with a loving touch, that you feel the world pouring through you, or the stars pouring through you. So this is what, in this just one first sentence, Yahweh, they translate cared for, which makes it nice. Visited makes it a little more raunchy, right? You know this. Makes it a little more wild. Okay, come on in for a visit. Whoa! Okay, next sentence.
Okay.
Sarah
became pregnant.
Wow, good for you.
And gave birth to a son for Abraham in his old age.
Now it's very tricky. Does it say that Abraham, remember when Abraham made a son with the slave?
Hagar.
It just simply says, Abraham goes into Hagar. You know, nice and clear. We're not going to, this is the Bible, it's the truth. No namby-pamby. Not they hugged. He went into her. Does it say that here?
Does not.
Does it say that Abraham and Sarah had a son?
No, it said Sarah gave birth to a son.
Oh, you're really learning how to read this. And this is crucial. As you've been learning, I've slowly learned, we got to pay attention to what's going on. Be awake. My fallen angels often, they're like Zen masters. They slap me awake. Why don't check it?
Mine do too.
Yes, wake up, Mikey. Wake up.
They hit me right across the face.
Yeah, they do. We'll often go for my throat. Open your heart, fella. And get out of your mind and into your head. Feel your head. Well, we've learned enough already, haven't we? What's next?
Everything happened at the time God had said it would.
What on earth does that mean?
Abraham named his son Isaac, the son Sarah gave birth.
Wow!
Yeah.
In case you missed, this is huge. Because the Christians and Jews trace themselves back to Abraham through Isaac. And if Isaac isn't the son of Abraham, the biological son, which makes it more interesting, way more interesting. And the one that is the biological son is Ishmael, who's the father of the Arabs. So it seems if Abraham's seed is going to bring blessings, you think it was Ishmael. Don't tell Christians and Jews, Barbara, I'm sorry to reveal this to you. It doesn't mean that even though a boy is not your biological child. I have a friend in California. He's very, very tall. His first daughter is tall. His second daughter is very short. He's a redhead. She's a brunette. And he loves her anyway, as his daughter. Totally like the other daughter. Didn't matter a whit.
He didn't go through a grief period, though?
No, I don't think so. Poly. They were both poly. Not owning it either. Nice thing about polyamory now is at least people tell you what's going on.
But back then?
It's called cheating. Although both my parents did that too. But what do you do when it dies? You can either stay together and die together, or you can get creative. And there's many ways of getting creative. I found a woman, my dear beloved Michelle, who decided I was too old for her, but we had some times together. And she was 24 years younger than me, lived 3 hours away, and still we loved hugging. Now I'm using the word hugging euphemistically. We loved it. We both needed it so much. And we were creative enough. She came down and stayed here, lived with me for 3 years. So that's enough. And then we remained loving friends and still cuddled and hugged. So that was creative sexuality, which I love. I sometimes long for more, and then I realize that's just as she wants me. We call each other Elfies now, ever-loving friends. And that's very, very lovely. It can be lonely too, but lovely. So creative, if you're all listening, creative love, creative sexual, psychological, emotional, mental, spiritual love. Watch out for this woman. See where she is next year, or me too. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
So even though Isaac, even though Isaac is most certainly 99.44% not Abraham's son, and we'll see what happens. Stay tuned next week if you can bear it. But what does this sentence mean? Abraham named his son Isaac, and Isaac, you know what Isaac means? You remember?
Laughter.
Ha ha! I knew Abraham. Ha ha! Everything happened at the time God had said it would. What does that mean?
God knew what happened to Sarah. He knew when someone went into Sarah.
Oh, he knew, and he knew the timing. Wow, you're getting so down and dirty. Good for you. Okay, next. Oh, we did, yes.
So Abraham named his son Isaac, the son Sarah gave birth to. He circumcised Isaac when he was 8 days old, as God had commanded.
Well, so what might be hard for you women to identify, but this is happening to women still all over Africa.
Mm.
What do you feel about this circumcision stuff?
I think it's time to. I know people thought more before they had their son circumcised, before they went along with
It's
it.
time to think about it. And why do you think it's happening, though? Why did God tell? Now, if you remember, the name of the God, you probably know, who told Abraham to circumcise all the men, was El Shaddai, the power of my female. Yes. So it could have been Sarah or some spirit, deep divine spirit from Sarah, cutting these men down to size. You should try this if a guy gives you a hard time. Give him a recircumcision rite.
How do you do that?
You'll be creative. I know you are. You can figure it. So it might be the female energy that's trying to keep the male under control. That's my guess. But it became a sign of the covenant. Ultimately a brutal sign. In Germany, there was a Jew who, because he was ill at birth, did not get circumcised. This was a great movie, Europa, Europa. So he could pass as a Christian, and he wasn't sent to the camps. But all the men, when the Germans said, pull down your pants, because they had God's sign, it was a sign of death. The Christians who were just Reformed Jews at the time, a little after Jeshua died, Jesus, chose to let people not be circumcised and still be part of the community. So it's ironic's not the word, tragic that this sign of God, or this, surgery from Sarah, keeping men down, because certainly we've kept women down, turned into a death sentence. Let's move on.
Abraham was 100 years old when his son Isaac was born, but we know to cut that in half.
Right, 2 harvests for every year, so he's 50. That makes sense. Just that you can meet someone who's 50, just not too old, right?
And Sarah said, God has made me laugh. Everyone who hears about this will laugh with me.
Isn't that sweet?
No one thought that I would be able to have Abraham's child, but even though Abraham is old, I have given him a son.
So this is tricky. I would be able to have Abraham's child. Maybe she's saying this to encourage Abraham to think it's his child. But she says, I have given him a son. That's ambiguous, maybe.
Isaac grew, and when he became old enough to eat food, Abraham gave a great feast.
So they had, tell me what you see now. So he's suckling at Sarah's breast, and then he gets probably at 2 or 3, he wants food. And they were wonderful. They had a ceremony where they said, and she could have blackened her breast. So when he goes to the breast, it's just ash. And they make this a ceremony, just like birthdays are a ceremony. Instead of thinking I'm just getting older, celebrate. I'm now going to be 79. Help! Happy birthday! Help! We do that, or we do that with winter, big holiday to cheer us up.
Abraham gave a great feast, but Sarah saw Ishmael, the son of Hagar, making fun of Isaac.
Well, they say making fun.
Laughing or playing.
Right, yes, but that means literally. They want to make Ishmael a bad guy, right? He's laughing and playing with his little brother.
Right.
And they're saying he's making fun. And Yitzhak has the same root in Hebrew as Isaac, playing as Yitzhak. So you can see how translators are really, it's hard for them to really say, oh, he's just playing. Because if he was making fun, maybe Sarah, because we're going to see what Sarah does. So, you know Sarah. You know. And you're no stranger to those feelings, right? No, what are you going to do? Help.
So Sarah said to Abraham, throw out
No, not again.
the slave woman and her son.
I said you give her a name.
Her son should not inherit anything. My son Isaac should receive it all.
Wow! She's not hiding her motives. What do you think? Feel? How does it feel for all these people?
Oh, gosh.
You are an expert in feelings. What does it feel? First of all, what is Sarah feeling?
Just a lot of pain and jealousy.
Because Isaac's no longer suckling at her breast.
And she now that here's Isaac playing with Ishmael. You know, she's thinking she's slowly losing her Isaac.
Boy, she doesn't mess around. Throw them out. This is the day of the feast. Wow. Well, in some ways, I admire her fire. We have it in her.
Her full disclosure.
Yes, it's not hiding it.
It's like, you know what?
Wow. And what do you feel if you're Abraham? Oh, my Lord.
Stress. A lot of discomfort. Stress.
And you know Ishmael's your son. And you probably know Isaac is probably
not your son.
But are you going to take on, you understand this in certain families, is the husband going to take on the wife? Does he have the balls to do it?
More often than not, no.
No! And ouch!
This troubled Abraham very much because Ishmael was also his son.
So it's at least saying it troubled him.
It troubled him.
Troubled is not quite the word. What do you feel like if you're Hagar and Ishmael?
Very upset. Very uncomfortable.
They've been through it before, remember, when Hagar was pregnant. Wow, you thought they got over it.
But God said to Abraham, don't be troubled about the boy and the slave woman. Do whatever Sarah tells you.
Oh!
The descendants...
Stop for a moment. Oh, what is going on, Sarah? We might have to go to the next show to really find out. What is going on? Do this interior voice listen to whatever Sarah tells you. It doesn't even call Hagar. Same words Sarah used. Slave woman and son. Not even your son. What is going on? What is she? Was she a evil spirit, Sarah, invading Abram's mind?
I think so.
Or was she just invading Abram's mind because she's so angry now?
Mm-hmm.
And but why does the Bible wouldn't lie to us? Why does the Bible say God says this?
I don't know why.
Why does the Bible say
No.
God's? Do you hear an interior or inner voice at times?
I do.
And where do you think it comes from? Do you think it's you, or more than you, or less
I think
than
it's
you?
more than me.
Oh, you do?
Mm-hmm.
Like God or a spirit or what?
Yeah, I think it's my intuition.
Oh, it's your intuition.
Mm-hmm.
You're so healthy. I thought my intuition was God speaking to me.
It might be though.
No, but yours is way healthier. My intuition, my sense of my whole self, maybe. So why is Abraham's intuition? I'm sure you'll be with us in
I know.
in 4 minutes when we're leaving you in 30 seconds. Why is your intuition, and some people's intuition tell them all kinds of things.
No, it's true.
What was you don't want to tell me, what was one mean thing? My intuition just wants to get rid of everybody.
My intuition does tell me to run more often than not.
Just
get away.
you're kind.
Get away. Don't.
You're kind.
There's going to be a conflict here. You can avoid it.
Oh my, you have a nice intuition.
But it doesn't teach me to be brave. It
Oh.
teaches me fear.
We'll be back with
All right.
intuition and God.